Let's have a look at the Harbor Tug. I'm building this for my good buddy Bob Quick, Navy buddy. I wanted to have this done before last Christmas, but again, one of the many things I had to set aside for client work. So let's have a look at some of the progress I've done. As you can see here, I've already started. I sanded the entire lower hull, started assembly on it, shot it with one coat of primer, built the pilot's cabin, shot it with primer, attached it to the deck. I'm going to be building up the second deck, lower level, 01 level, weather decks, and then adding the pieces independently. I've been building everything and sanding in sections to make sure that it all looks smooth and professional. As you can see, I've already got the captain's gig or small boat started. It's been sanded, shot with primer, has the top. I'm going to box this up for now. I've got a lot of work in the works, different jobs, but I'm going to get back on this tomorrow. I want to get this done as soon as possible. It's going to be a relatively easy build. There are a lot of parts and a lot of little tiny parts, but it's just a matter of taking a little time. Anyway, I'll show a couple of quick clips of the previous work right after this video. Alright, let's have a look at some more 5-foot original series Enterprise parts. I've got to say, and I'm just being honest, I'm not trying to rag on anyone, but this is some of the most disappointing parts I think I've ever had printed. I mean, really, they're just raggedy. That's going to take a lot of cleanup to smooth out, and yeah. Jeez. Now these, I tried to, first of all, this grill pattern is not accurate. I tried to explain to the guy that the people that did the restoration did not have the accurate grill pattern. He told me he wasn't going to change it. So I'm working with a guy. I had this grill pattern in STL file, but I've looked all over it across 3 or 4 hard drives and have not been able to find it. I probably named it something stupid, who knows. Tried to talk to a friend of mine about sending me a copy and got tired of jacking around with him. So I talked to another guy. We're going to put it together and make a brand new one, high resolution replacement STL file with the proper grill. Okay, this just isn't right. I don't care what anybody says. I've done my research. I know what I'm talking about. Also, there's no detail on these detail parts. There's no diamond pattern in here. There should be a diamond pattern all up in here on both sides. There's no ridges. I'm going to have to scratch build out of sheet styrene the ridges that go along the top here to make this accurate, so that's kind of disappointing. The shape of these prints, all of these prints are just raggedy looking. Yeah, every one of these is going to take paint, putty, primer, sand. This is the S-curve on the back. I went the extra cost for a clear hemisphere to fit the S-curve. This actually turned out pretty nice. It's not nearly as bad as these parts. And it looks like I'm going to have to make a mold and cast these parts because I'm just not paying the price I paid for one clear part. I'd rather spend $100 on silicone and be able to make copies and keep paying 60, 80, 100 bucks for one piece of clear. I'm just not going to do it. And for what I paid for these parts, honestly, they look like crap. But, you know, you can't cry over spilt money down the drain. You just got to go with what you know and clean it up and make it look perfect. At any rate, those are the new parts. I can't believe what I paid for these. I just can't get over it. Yeah, I'm going to have to buy another printer. I've got to start printing my own parts and quit doing side jobs for people and trying to make clients happy. I can't do everything, but I'll be damned if I'm going to pay this for what I paid for these parts when I can print them here in the house. Anyway, these are the new original series parts, such as they are. I'll show more on that coming up next. Alrighty then, yeah, this is the Obelisk from Paradise Syndrome. But it's got issues too. The tips were on there when it was shipped, but they weren't protected, so they broke off. And then down here there's a ridge all along the bottom. That's going to have to be sanded, puttied, smoothed, and shaped with a sanding block. That whole ridge has got to be gone. The letters came out nice. The Fabrini preserver letters, or whatever the proper tools, parts, and equipment nomenclature, Star Trek numerology. But yeah, there's the preserver obelisk made out of solid resin. Me personally, I would have shelled the part out and saved about 1/3 of the resin. But what do I know? Okay, yeah. There it is, a preserver obelisk. Now I gotta wait for replacement tips to be printed. Oh well, this will sit on the shelf until I can get to it. Alrighty then, let's have a look at the 1/25th scale obelisk and the Lonely Robot. Now there's not much to see here. It's so white you can barely see the details, but I wanted to make sure to show that the Fabrini or preserver writing is on it. So yes, unfortunately it wasn't packed very well, so the tips broke off. But the printer was decent enough to make some replacement tips. So I'm going to have to sand that down and cut these tips off and glue them into position. But this will give me an opportunity to paint the tips silver chrome while I work on the rest of the obelisk. I'm going to be scratch building the base and the sliding platforms. So this is going to be 1/25th scale, and it's going to have a 1/25th scale Spock studying the preserver wording, letters / language. Anyway, that's the preserver obelisk. It's actually pretty big. This is my hand. It's 1 foot long. Well, it's 1 foot long with the tips on it. And the base will be about 3 inches tall. So the size of the whole thing altogether is going to be 15 inches, as the obelisk is the tallest part, obviously. Now, here is the 8K resin Lonely Robot, taken directly from Science Fiction and Fantasy magazine. I've had his head cut off so that I can run wiring and light up the ears. So here's the head, and what I'm going to do is drill up through the neck, drill into both ears, and place 2 super bright white LEDs inside in kind of a wigwag lighting setup, but it's going to be going at such high speed that it's going to look like it's electronics emanating through the transparent red ears. as you see here. So that should give a nifty effect. And I'm going to build a diorama around it, just like you see in the magazine cover, which I will show at a later date. I'm going to make a full diorama with background, etc. More to come. This is the 1/1000 Star Trek Voyager, not the 1677. Now, this is a brand new kit from Polar Schmobius. But look here. It says clear, special clear edition, right? Okay. As you can see, it's still in the plastic. Now, I'm going to take the plastic off and we're going to have a look inside and see if it is indeed clear. Shall we? And here we are. Well, will you look at that? It's not clear. Now, why would Polar Schmobius lie to you? That's not clear. Does that look clear to you? The only reason you would buy a clear kit is for ease of lighting. Light it, mask it, paint it, decal it, dull coat it, ship it. Yeah, that is not clear. Enough said.